Namaste, Jay Bharat. Right from childhood, there's something that confused me a lot. Right in childhood, all of you must have heard of expressions like God fearing, and most often we find the attribute that one is God fearing is credited as a greater attribute, as something positive. But I never understood this in my childhood. And why is someone saying God fearing as something positive, and I found it something I don't understand? Now, the question which used to come to my mind, these I'm talking about the younger days, is that why should one fear God? Is God something one must be afraid of? Or is God something else? Why should one be afraid of God? Why? Can the relationship between God and man be something other than fear and trembling? All these questions used to cross in the minds. In the mind, in my younger days, all these questions used to cross, and it was ever confusing. Ever confusing. Never found an answer, and could not ask anyone uh, whom I could have asked, but I could not ask anyone. Did not ask. Outside the frame of these thoughts, we don't really bother also about things. But now, thinking seriously, what one means to say God fearing, which people generally treat as positive. Why should you fear a God? Why should you at all? Can the relationship between one and the God be something other than fear? Now, the difficulty or the difference here is that one is I am from a typical Hindu traditional background. I don't understand why should I be afraid of God. That used the problem in my childhood. I understood it much later that was the problem, that why I was unable to appreciate, understand and appreciate when others say God fearing. That is because of my typical Hindu background, because I'm only aware of that, and that's a kind of tradition and situation in which I was groomed in. I was never taught to be afraid of God. No one ever told me to be afraid of God, and I never saw anyone being afraid of God. Of the relationship between God and me in Hindu Dharma is one that of how would you explain it? It's actually beyond explanation, but it's one that of friendship, or rather, a much refined expression, intimacy, being one with, trusting, belonging, complaining, making remarks, making complaints. It's a kind of one-to-one correspondence relation. That's a kind of relations what we used to be familiar of. Fear was never in the list. Fear was never in the list. Now, when you think about why should such difference be there, then much later in life one comes across the whole series of theological questions, theological understandings, theological implications, and theological differences between the Semitic religions and Bharatiya Dharma. There, God is to be feared for various reasons. You can explore into the details, which takes time. Here, God is a Sakha. God is a friend. God is someone who is intimate. The God is someone whom you trust. The God is someone whom you can make complaint to. The God is someone to whom you say your mistakes. It's not a confession. You say that you have done these mistakes. Give me more strength to withstand This mistake, all these things may be on a refined level of a Hindu God belief. You may venture into finding, but fear was never in the list. I was never afraid of God. I was never afraid of God, in spite of the fact that our deities sometimes make ferocious appearance, tongue coming out, big eyes, and etc. But I don't know if someone else was afraid. I was never afraid of it. In my childhood, seeing that very horrifying deities, very ferocious deities are there. But for me, I was never afraid of that deity because I become one with the deity, and it's a kind of intimacy. In such cases with the deity, it's a mother son intimacy which developed. Never fear of God. So, for Sanatanis and for anyone in Bharatiya Dharmic Parampara and Bharatiya Dharmas, we don't fear God. We were never asked to fear God. We are not conscious of a sin which we have not done. When we do mistakes, yes, we have a concept of prayaschitta, which is slightly similar to repentance. Repentance is a different concept. Prayaschitta is just, yes, I did a mistake. You say that you did a mistake, and that's it. But still, in spite of whatever, you are not afraid of God. God is, if whatever God one thinks of is different from one to another, the God concept varies from person to person, not simply from religion to religion. It also varies from person to person. But here the God concept we are not afraid of. Rather, it comforts. In all difficulties, the concept is comfortable. You are relaxed. You are at ease. I wonder how somebody from the typical Hindu background can understand the concept of fear God. It's not on the list. It's not available to us. Can someone really understand? I still can't. Of course, there are logical reasons why the fear has to come, but we don't understand it, or we don't say appreciate such things. Till we meet again, it's Namaste, Jai Bharat, and Jai Shri Ram.